In this time of fall, and in the West, in the medicine wheel, in my tradition, it's about accepting the bounty of the things we've created during our year and accepting abundance of beauty and resources and love and all the things that we're looking for in life. And so I want to talk about a few things that get in the way of accepting abundance and creating abundance and having abundance, holding abundance, all those things. And the first is I'm going to call poverty consciousness. Okay. And the second I'm going to call work ethic consciousness. And the latter one, I borrowed the term from the phrase Protestant work ethic. And we'll talk about that second. I want to start with poverty consciousness. Actually, both of these are a result in not believing in our abundance and not believing in our resources and our ability to create abundance. So we have belief systems that we've come by honestly that lead us to believe that we are not able to create abundance. So therefore we have limited resources, or if we have a certain amount of money that comes in through our job or our retirement or whatever else, we have this limited resources. And some of that's a reality. However, I think having abundance can even transcend those types of things. We can create abundance that maybe we hadn't in ways that we hadn't considered before. So if poverty consciousness is not believing in our abundance and it's believing that our resources are limited, then we start holding on to the resources we have. So we hold on to our money and to our love and we're a little tight-fisted with that. And then ironically, that kind of screws up the flow that brings in more abundance. Okay? And so there's this real balance that happens between we want to have, it's good to have kind of a simple life where we're not buying too many things, and we're not buying things, to manage our feeling, and we're not going wild buying things. But yet at the same time, we're also not, we're not falling into poverty consciousness where we're just really not allowing resources and money and that to flow through us. That keeps the flow. If it flows out, it can flow back in. And so that's one thing that we can really be aware of. And that's the biggest intention of this blog, is to increase your awareness of these types of things, increase our awareness, and just notice like where is poverty consciousness? Am I believing in limited resources? Am I holding on? Am I not allowing things to flow? Am I not willing to invest in myself financially and emotionally? Am I not willing to invest in my family and my people and in my dreams? And I may need to invest financially and emotionally and spiritually. And then that begins the flow that can happen to create more, to allow more abundance to come in, and then we can accept the abundance, and we can be bigger and more abundant and more joyful. The other thing that gets in the way, I was calling work ethic consciousness, and this gets into the way we view our abundance coming in, with the way we believe money and livelihood and salary, and it comes from that we picked up culturally. I had a lot of this where I grew up in Pennsylvania, this Protestant work ethic thing, where we were told we end up having this belief that that we have to earn everything that comes to us. And there's, of course, like all things, there's some truth. We have to get out there and do things to create abundance and to create livelihood and to create money and to create a living. That's for sure. However, it's quite possible that abundance is not as this for that. It's not so we don't maybe have to create everything that comes to us, at least in the linear way that we think of it. We don't have to earn every little piece of abundance. You know, sometimes abundance can just come in. We can have an intention, hey, I'd like to have this thing, and it can come to us in ways that we hadn't considered. We don't necessarily have to go and work for it and buy it in the way that we're taught. So work ethic abundance is really it's often a series of limiting beliefs that we have to work hard in order to get ahead. Okay, and it, just like poverty consciousness, the actual doing that can actually get in the way of getting ahead, because we're working hard, which means we're exhausted, which means we're moving in a different direction, which means we're not seeing the abundance that may be trying to come in. So it's really good to be aware of these things: poverty consciousness and work ethic consciousness. And then you can find balance. And I'll give you a personal example is, you know, I'm going through, you know, some changes in my life like many of you are, and I'm going to actually go down on my hours at the hospital. So I'm thinking about, you know, is there anything that I'm spending money on, these monthly charges that maybe I don't really need, that I'm not really using? And this is good because it's simplifying my life. And then there's less of a nut to crack every month. And I'm not, you know, I'm not a slave to all the services and things that I buy. And that's really good on one side. But then how do I do that without going into poverty consciousness and work ethic consciousness, and then which dams the flow of new abundance coming in? And that's a really fine line to walk. And the only way I know to do it is to just kind of be aware of both sides of it and just kind of feel your way through that. It's like, and then it's like the Goldilocks thing. It's a little too, you know, too hard, too soft, just right. It's like maybe too much spending, reduce that. So it's like more simple. Let's get more simple. And then we go over, but it's like now I'm in my poverty consciousness. I'm scrunching and being simple and not allowing my abundance to flow enough. Okay, and I'm not trusting the new ways that abundance can come in. So that's the two sides of it. And I really invite you, as my journey is right now, is to seek maybe to how can you find a balance of these things? And how can you allow yourself to have the abundance and the harvest that you've created, whether you realize it or not, and that's trying to come to you, to allow it to come in and have the abundance of love and joy and richness that you so deserve in your life. So that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. And my hope and prayer for you is that you can allow your harvest to become manifest in your life. You can allow your harvest to, and the abundance of joy and beauty and wealth that is your right to have, and that is likely there for you if only you can allow it in and not push it away with things like poverty consciousness and work ethic consciousness. And I will see you in a week.